Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Anime Reviews podcast. I'm Scott, and I'm from the blog Mechanical Anime Reviews, and it's time for episode 7. So last time I discussed some seasonal anime, mainly the mecha series 86, SSSS, Dynazenon, and Back Arrow. But for now, we're going to be discussing some older stuff, like basically the barrier between when a show is exploited versus just having a good release in general. Like, there would be no focus on specific materials or shows. It'd just be just franchises in general and how they're treated. Like, newer and older, franchises just always seem to disappear from public consciousness faster than anyone has ever expected to. So, did you ever notice that time just continues to keep moving? I don't just mean the whole aging thing, but like how information is processed so quickly and then left behind like as soon as left. Like that's basically the seasonal experience, right? It kind of just works with how the world of anime and other media keep going, and it affects how even popular franchises just appear and then disappear like pretty quickly. Honestly, I mean, not everything is like Madoka, Gundam, Dragon Ball Z, Evangelion that just stick around forever. Like, there are always, like, hidden depths of anime and other media that are there and then kind of quickly gone the next day. Like, I feel like a good example of that is Patlabor franchise. You know, like, the nice, somewhat comedic Patlabor franchise where just policemen using a mecha solve robot crimes and some other things, some goofy antics on the side. But that was very popular in the late 80s, early 90s. No one knows about it anymore. Okay, that's not completely true. Like, a little more hardcore than usual mecha fans will know of it. And it's popular enough to, like, attempt a reboot, because there was a short one recently with modern technology. And there was also a nice Blu-ray release of, like, everything Patlabor in one set. So, you know, it has passed a threshold to where it's popular enough to get that release, but not popular enough to get a lot as much critical acclaim as it could be. And then you have another example of that, like with Haruhi. From the late 2000s to the early 2010s, like, Haruhi was huge generational thing for a lot of us anime fans who were getting into it for the first time or something. You know, and yet, where is it now? Well, it did get a light novel release recently, and Funimation does have a collector's set of it, but it's not as, like, as popular as it could be. Maybe there's a meta thing behind that or something, but it's just crazy. And lastly, like, there was Do Ra Ra Ra, which was popular 6 years ago. It was everywhere. I mean, it appeared on Adult Swim, it was a lot of other places, like, and you couldn't go one place or another without seeing fan art of it anywhere. And yet, it is kind of forgotten now, despite having, like, a second season 3 years ago. And it's kind of crazy, like, how something popular could just disappear. I guess that just has to do with, like, how fast anime fandom moves, right? Like, most people in anime fandom only last 2 years and they're gone. And there's some of older people who's been in it since, I don't know, I've been in it since 90s, and I'm still here. But that's not everyone. That's not just how it works anymore. In general, like, if people survive a fandom debut of 2 years, maybe they will be like in the same situation that we are in now. Maybe they won't be. Maybe they won't care about trends. Will just leave anime eventually anyway. Like, it's kind of hard to judge that. But anyway, like, franchises really come and go. They gain public reception, like, and then they disappear. Example of that is probably Wonder Egg, which people say they won't forget because the ending, but I have a feeling that most people will probably forget about Wonder Egg by the ending. But in general, like, as our fandom grows, different trends always appear in specific time periods for the anime. Like, the same is also true for whatever time period you think makes it more obvious. For example, we're still in, like, a major isekai wave right now, while other genres are just either there, like Shonen Jump, always going to be popular. but other things are a lot lesser. Like, you don't see as much romantic comedies anymore. Mecha barely holding on. Cyberpunk, where the hell is it? Besides some bad things that we see from time to time. Some things are on life support, some are not, and also a continuous cycle of that. So seeing how that's going to happen in the future is kind of exciting, don't you think? And I hope that is something different and unique that people will not get too tired of, or like won't be as repetitive. Because before Isekai, it was a magical high school influenced by Harry Potter that took the anime world by storm. So anyway, older franchises. I think there's a good kind of bubble for where franchises can get a good release without being too exploited. But like the high end bubble is something like Evangelion, for instance. Like, shows license fees are probably impossibly high. Like, I'm amazed that Netflix picked it up. I'm amazed that GKID's going to drop a release soon. And also has like 4 different dubs for all the movies in the franchise itself. Some with the ADV original cast, some not. And it's kind of crazy like that, right? And there's always like popular shows that, well, Ava's obviously the top tier popular show, right? Because no one could really beat it besides something like maybe Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, which also exploited the same way with multiple dubs and releases over the years, and just it's kind of crazy to think about that. So yeah, obviously, like Ava and other things are that barrier there, where like before that, they're popular enough, like Standalone Complex, Patlabor, Votoms, other things. They're getting a release because they have attention, but like it's not a redubbing or anything. It's just, here it is. It's very nice. Go get it. So yeah, like how that works out, I don't know. It's kind of hard to figure it out, isn't it? I mean, what counts as popular enough to get attention, but not popular enough to get exploited, rebooted, or something? I mean, I think reboot after like a decade or two is fine, but what about 5 years, 10 years? It's kind of really hard to see what stays in public consciousness for so long. And that's kind of what happens with like older fans because they just get tired out of seeing old things, new things just kind of disappearing, and they're just holding the bags, while someone else goes shopping and they're still in the store. I guess that's a good phrase of saying that. I hope it is. And yeah, sometimes you just can't. Trends pass so quickly that you don't really know what to hold on to anymore, or you have to look very hard. Like, I know that, like, I've been around long enough, and I'm not the easiest person to please when it comes to seasonals, because I have to, like, search through what sounds interesting to me, and what's going to be, like, okay enough for me to watch, what's great. And that's kind of hard, too, because not everything's a reboot, or a Brotherhood-like adaptation of something old that I enjoy. So I search for that, like, special creator, or team, or series that you watched when I was younger that they're still continuing. And there's just always more, but I guess the answer to finding, like, these gems is, well, there's always tons of anime history to explore. There's always some nice shows here and there that we haven't really looked at yet, or haven't seen yet. They haven't been brought to light from Retro Crush, Discotheque yet. And I guess that requires some pirating, but, like, because not everything gets picked up. There are probably some great shows that have never seen the light of day in America. It's kind of sad, even with all the retro things that we have. And they haven't really crossed any kind of popular bubble because they haven't been allowed to. It's kind of... I'm sorry this podcast is a bit rambly, but, like, talking about time and popularity in anime series is kind of a complicated thing that I kind of gonna get rambly with, I think. And I guess the only thing we can, besides, like, searching through the depths of, like, Wikipedia to see what aired what year when, is just see what Discotheque or Retro Crush, which are full of older anime nerds recover for us to watch, and then we just enjoy them. Like, sometimes licenses can be cheap, and they pick them up and they create a nice copy of them. Sometimes they're not, and somehow you get Gunbuster, which is amazing to me. So finding that popularity trend and searching for it is kind of hard. And that's where I can leave this for today. Like, it's hard to find out what's popular when. It's hard to see how long that popularity bubble goes. It's just hard. So thank you for listening today. I'm Scott from the Mechanical Anime Reviews podcast and blog Mechanical Anime Reviews. And I will talk to you guys next month, with whatever podcast I've come up with. And whatever, I will continue posting on my blog too. So a lot of media for you to get into. Thank you for listening.